Okay, let's dive deep into something that, well, it touches pretty much everyone. Anxiety.
Hmm.
And specifically, how moving beyond it might unlock creativity and, lead you towards your purpose.
Yeah, it's a huge topic.
It really is. Our source for this exploration today is fascinating. It's excerpts from Beyond Anxiety by Martha Beck, PhD.
Ah, Martha Beck. Yeah.
If her name sounds familiar, she's a Harvard-trained sociologist, a New York Times bestselling author. Maybe you've read The Way of Integrity.
Could be, yeah.
And she's become this, well, world-renowned life coach. So she brings a really unique perspective to all this.
Definitely.
So our mission today is to really extract the most important nuggets, the key insights from this material.
Right.
We want to understand, like, what is anxiety really?
Yeah.
How does this source suggest we can navigate away from it? And this is the really cool part. See the connection between that journey
Yeah.
and finding our, most authentic, purposeful lives.
And what's great about this source, I think, is how it pulls together all these different fields.
Yeah.
It's got cutting-edge science, neuroscience, psychology, polyvagal theory.
Wow, okay.
But it blends that with very human stories, personal anecdotes, and practical techniques. It really does offer maybe a fresh look at anxiety and its opposite, creativity and purpose.
And she starts right there, doesn't she, with her own experience.
She does. Very personal.
Describing herself as being, I think the quote is, always, always, always anxious for, like, most of her life.
Yeah, imagine that.
And it was this constant struggle, this unease, that actually pushed her to study social sciences and the mind in the first place, trying to figure it out for herself.
And she makes a really critical distinction right at the start. She argues that the anxiety most of us feel, it's not the same as true fear.
Okay, explain that. What's the difference?
Well, true fear is that ancient, immediate physical reaction to actual danger.
Like the leopard example she uses. If you see a leopard right there.
Exactly. It's short-term, it's designed to get you moving now, and then it's supposed to just disappear when the threat's gone.
Right, like yanking your hand off a hot stove. Instant reaction. Present danger.
Precisely. But anxiety, the way she describes it, it's not about the leopard that's actually in the room. It's these consuming, often really terrifying thoughts about possible things, future stuff.
Right, like that quote she uses, something about knowing many troubles.
But most of them never happened.
Yeah, that really sums up how anxiety works in our heads,
And it's not just a one-off worry, is it? She talks about how it can spiral.
Exactly. An unregulated feedback cycle, she calls it, or an anxiety spiral.
Okay.
It just feeds on itself. The worried thought creates the anxious feeling,
Which makes the thought seem more real.
which amps up the feeling, and round you go. You're stuck.
Wow. And it's not just inside our heads.
No, that's a key point. It's deeply social, too. She has this powerful line, as society makes us anxious, we make it anxious.
Interesting.
Our own anxiety adds to the social pressure, the fear in the air.
Which then bounces back and makes us more anxious individually. Exactly. And she even mentions mirror cells in the brain, how we literally sort of catch feelings from others.
Yeah.
It's biological.
Which, okay, that leads her to ask why our society seems particularly prone to anxiety. She uses that acronym, WEIRD.
Right. Western, educated, industrialized, rich, democratic.
Yeah. And the idea is that people in these weird cultures have developed kind of different psychologies.
Yeah.
More anxious ones.
That's the argument. And the really provocative insight is that this anxiety isn't just like an unfortunate byproduct.
Well,
In weird culture, it's often subtly well encouraged, used as a way to boost productivity competition.
you mean like the pressure to always be busy, always achieving?
Yeah, exactly. Even though there's tons of evidence that calm states are better for creativity and problem solving, there's still this cultural myth that fear is the best motivator. She even mentions Jeff Bezos reportedly telling people to be terrified all the time. And her point is, this fear-based system isn't natural law. It's something we've built, she suggests, largely from the left hemisphere's most materialistic, frightened, and controlling tendencies.
Okay, so let's get into that brain science she brings up. The hemispheres.
Right.
We generally hear, left hemisphere is analytical, logical, verbal.
Language center.
And the right hemisphere is more about senses, emotions, intuition, seeing the big picture.
That's the common understanding, yeah. And she highlights the story of Jill Bolt Taylor, the neuroscientist who had that massive left hemisphere stroke.
Oh, I remember hearing about that. Incredible story.
Totally. It temporarily wiped out her language, her sense of linear time, all that left brain stuff.
Yeah?
And her description of just being in the right hemisphere, pure sensory input, feeling connected to everything, this allness. It's such a powerful illustration of how different those functions are.
It really makes you think.
It does, and it challenges some ideas, like linking depression only to the right hemisphere. Taylor's experience kind of flips that, suggesting maybe the loss of the right hemisphere's input, or its suppression, is a bigger issue. The source also mentions things like hemispatial neglect.
What's that?
It's from right hemisphere damage. People literally lose awareness of one side of space, even one side of their own body. Shows how crucial that right side is for just being embodied in the world.
Wow. Okay, so back to the left hemisphere and anxiety. She calls it a hall of mirrors.
Yeah. When it's dominated by anxiety, everything gets distorted.
How so?
Well, kindness might look suspicious, like manipulation. Resting feels like weakness. Optimism seems foolish. And everything is seen through this lens of scarcity. Never enough money, status, power, love. Just never enough.
That sounds exhausting.
It is, and she notes how incredibly real that perspective feels when you're in it, even though it makes the world seem so grim and joyless.
So how do we get stuck there? She talks about triggers, right?
Yes, psychological triggers. And she's careful to define this. It's not just, saying I'm triggered casually.
Right.
A true trigger in this context is something that sets off an immediate, uncontrollable response. It bypasses your conscious thought completely.
Like the example of the veteran.
Exactly. The smell of a specific soap from deployment just instantly sends him back, physiologically. No choice involved.
Got it.
And these triggers, she explains, can set off what's called the defense cascade.
Okay, the defense cascade. This builds on fight or flight.
It does. Fight or flight. That was Walter Bradford Cannon back in, 1915?
Yeah, a while ago.
So the newer understanding adds more responses. She calls them the other F words.
Right. Fawn, freeze, and flop.
Exactly. And she gives really relatable examples.
Like her fawning over Professor Pondwater, just agreeing to everything.
Yeah, being overly compliant to appease perceived danger. Or freeze, like her student Emma, whose mind just went blank under pressure.
Happens to the best of us.
Totally. And flop, like Kirby collapsing on the couch, calling in sick, just unable to cope, rewatching Survivor.
We've all had maybe a flop day.
Probably. So the key insight is when that inner anxiety creature...
Which she says is like a powerful wild animal, not just a scared baby.
Right. When it senses danger, real or just perceived, it grabs the controls.
It passes the thinking brain.
Completely.
Yeah.
Launches one of these defenses, your best intentions, your logic. They don't stand a chance in that moment. Trying to argue with it can even make it worse.
So how do we understand these states better? She uses an analogy.
Yeah, from polyvagal theory, Stephen Porges's work. Think of traffic lights.
Okay.
Green light, you're safe, calm, connected, social. Your nervous system is relaxed but engaged.
Nice place to be.
Yellow light, caution. Mobilizing energy. That's your fight, flight, or fawn response kicking in.
Got it. Danger might be near.
Red light. Whoa, inescapable threat perceived. This is the collapse, the shutdown. Freeze or flop. Feeling stunned, no energy.
And what triggers yellow or red is different for everyone.
Totally individual, based on your life experiences, your nervous system's history.
Okay, so understanding this is the foundation for actually doing something about anxiety.
Exactly. Because you can't just think your way out of it when the cascade is triggered.
Right. Logic doesn't work on the anxiety creature.
Nope. So the path forward is about learning skills to gently step out of the spiral by calming the body's response directly.
The first one is amygdala whispering.
Yeah, I love that term. The idea is to treat your amygdala, that quick-reacting, threat-detecting part of the brain, like a wary little animal inside you.
A piglet or a lamb.
Right, not an enemy. And you communicate safety to it non-verbally. You gently promise to keep it safe.
And how do you do that? What are the techniques?
Super simple physical things. Sighing, moving gently, slowly, breathing deeply and slowly, making soft sounds like humming.
Things you'd do to calm a baby or a puppy.
Exactly, because those signals are understood by the older, non-verbal parts of the brain as signs of safety. It bypasses the anxious chatter.
She compares it to hostage negotiation.
Yeah, Chris Voss's techniques. How his colleague Benji calmed that dangerous guy, Abu Sabaya, not with logic or threats, but with this gentle, intuitive approach. It seemed like magic because it worked on that deep physiological level. Bypass the left brain's defenses.
Okay, so you use amygdala whispering to get to that calm green light state. What's next?
Step 2 is fill your sanctuary with glimmers.
Glimmers, the opposite of triggers.
Precisely. A glimmer is anything, an object, a sound, a smell, a taste, a memory, anything that sparks a little moment of unforced ease or joy or connection.
Could be tiny things.
Totally. The sight of sunlight, the smell of coffee, a favorite song, thinking of a pet.
And connecting with these helps turn on the green light.
That's the idea. It automatically creates, she says, a little bubble of gratitude and appreciation.
Like the example of Nikki and her plants.
Yeah. Just tending plants in her apartment. It wasn't about perfect gardening. It was the sensory connection to nature, her grandmother, her body, that shifted her nervous system.
That makes sense. Okay, step 3.
Bask in your green light state. Once you're feeling calm, you practice just noticing the physical sensations.
What kind of sensations?
Maybe lightness, warmth, a hum, maybe even feeling sleepy. Just noticing without judgment.
And she introduces KISSed here.
Right? Keep
Sure.
it. No, wait. It stands for gently cawing now. Tell your anxiety creature that it's allowed to feel anything it's feeling,
Okay.
but assure it that, for the moment, all is well.
So you're not fighting the feeling, but you're reassuring that anxious part.
Exactly. You acknowledge its presence. Okay, I feel you, anxiety creature, but gently anchor it in the safety of the present moment. Right now, just for this moment, we're okay.
It's about consistency, offering that reassurance.
Yes. And the insight here is that this inner peace, this green light state, it's not passive, it's actually generative.
How so?
Fear and anxiety lead to contracting, controlling, harm. But the green light state naturally moves you towards connection, cooperation, creativity, acts of love, connection. That's the way out of the mess anxiety creates.
She also brings in the idea of parts from IFS therapy.
Right. Internal family systems, Richard Schwartz's work. The basic idea is that our psyche can kind of fragment, especially after pain or trauma.
Into different subpersonalities?
Yeah, parts. You have exiles, which hold the deep pain and vulnerability, and then protectors that try to keep the exiles from being hurt again.
And the protectors come in 2 types.
Managers and firefighters. Managers are the planners, the controllers, the rule followers. Very left brain. Trying to manage life perfectly to avoid pain.
Like the inner critic or perfectionist.
Could be, yeah. Then firefighters react impulsively when pain does surface. They try to numb it or distract from it.
No.
Addictions, rage, zoning out, risky behaviors, maybe even fantasy.
And these parts can conflict.
Hugely. That's a key insight. Managers and firefighters can get polarized, fighting for control, creating these contradictory behaviors and worsening the anxiety spirals.
Like the example of Jack, the yoga teacher.
Yeah, wild story, serene yoga teacher manager part, but also these impulsive firefighter parts leading him to snort cocaine and buy guns. Total internal conflict.
So how do you work with these parts? The letter to my other selves exercise.
Right. It's about using expressive writing. You write to your different parts, the managers, the firefighters, maybe even sensing the underlying exiles.
You'd understand them better. Their fears, their motives.
Exactly. But then, crucially, you also write from your grounded adult self, telling them the truth about your current situation, that you are actually safe now.
She mentions research showing this kind of writing helps.
Yeah, James Pennebaker's work. It's powerful for processing stuff, but she warns it can stir up difficult emotions temporarily.
So it's important to be in that green light state first.
Definitely. And Penelope's story is amazing, connecting with her baby self, exile, who felt abandoned, and just offering that part daily comfort.
And her lifelong depression and anxiety lifted.
Yeah, a real transformation just from that internal connection and reassurance.
And this all leads to the idea of the self in IFS.
Yes, the core you.
Yeah.
The undamaged essence that's underneath all the parts.
What's it like?
Schwartz describes it based on what people report when they access it. It's wise, calm, clear, confident, curious, courageous, compassionate, connected, creative. All the C words.
That's pretty good.
Right. It's not just another part. It feels different, like it comes out of the blue.
She also mentions simpler techniques too, right? For milder anxiety.
Yeah, the step out of your anxiety spiral exercise, just naming things you can taste, hear, see to engage your senses.
Grounding yourself in the present.
Exactly. And object appreciation, picking up something ordinary, really looking at it, thinking about it, feeling its texture. It shifts your focus away from the anxious thoughts.
Okay, so calming the anxiety creature, getting into the green light, working with our parts. That's the groundwork. What happens then?
Well, this is where it gets really exciting. The source argues that creativity isn't just some separate skill, it's actually the opposite state to anxiety.
The opposite. How so?
Think about the spirals. Anxiety spiral starts with something unfamiliar, and the left brain reacts with fear, wanting control. The creativity spiral also starts with something unfamiliar or unknown. But the right hemisphere leans in with curiosity, inquiry, discovery.
Ah, exploration instead of control.
Exactly. Remember Jill Bolte-Taylor describing her right hemisphere wanting that juicy adrenaline rush of new experience?
Yeah.
It's that playful, exploratory drive. She gives all those examples of animals playing crows sledding, cockatoos dancing, even reptiles and maybe plants.
Plants playing. Seriously.
Some botanists think so. It points to this deep, intrinsic drive towards play and exploration in nature.
And she connects this to humans through neoteny.
Yeah, fascinating idea. Neoteny is like a biological fluke where humans retain juvenile traits like playfulness, curiosity, learning capacity much longer into adulthood than other animals.
So we stay playful longer.
Which allows for this explosion of creativity that goes way beyond just basic survival skills.
And she has those stories of creativity being unlocked by, like, head injuries.
Yeah, Heather Thompson painting after the tailgate incident, Ivan Schlitz sculpting after the propeller accident. It's like the shock somehow bypassed the usual anxious controls.
Wild. So how do we tap into this natural creativity? The notice what pushes and what pulls you exercise.
Right. It's a way to identify your own natural energy. Look back at your life school jobs.
And see what you did because you had to versus what genuinely interested you.
Exactly. The obligations, the stuff that felt like a slog, those are anti-squirrels.
Anti-squirrels, okay.
But the things that sparked your curiosity that you wanted to explore, just because those are your squirrels, your natural interests.
Got to find your squirrels.
Find your squirrels. And the insight is that passion or purpose usually doesn't arrive like a thunderbolt.
Yeah.
It's more gradual. Starts with a tiny flicker of interest, a squirrel. Then you get curious, investigate a bit. That curiosity grows, and it builds into this positive creative cycle.
From, oh, that's cool, too. I need to figure this out.
Exactly. Oh, wow, that's cool. It becomes so cool. Then I wish I could do that. And finally, okay, I'm going to figure out how to do that. It builds momentum.
Which leads to the rag bag of curiosities.
Yeah, love that image. It's about actively collecting things related to your squirrels, your glimmers of interest.
What kind of things?
Anything. Books, articles, pictures, notes, tools, experiences, whatever catches your eye. The author mentions her own rag bag, having Asian philosophy, science stuff, animal photos, language apps, even murder stories.
Eclectic.
Totally. The point isn't that they have to make sense together initially. The goal is just pure enjoyment, gathering the raw materials.
And eventually you use these materials to build your life.
That's the idea. She uses the metaphor of a crazy quilt.
Okay.
You start with one piece, you love a passion, a squirrel interest. Then you find another piece that resonates with it, and you stitch it on. You build outwards, organically, a literal creativity spiral.
So it's not about forcing it.
No, the key insight is you're not learning how to be creative. You're unlearning all the ways you stop yourself. Like Evelyn, whose depression lifted when she finally embraced her childhood love of dance.
Reconnecting with that true self.
Exactly. And this whole process is about unleashing the magician within.
The inner creative genius.
Yeah, that part of you that can synthesize everything you know and are and come up with novel solutions. She mentions that NASA study.
The one about kids' creativity dropping off.
Right. 98% of 5-year-olds scoring as creative geniuses, down to just 2% of adults. The argument is our environment teaches us out of our genius.
Wow. So how do we get it back? She says difficulties are actually important.
Yes, this is huge. Getting stuck, hitting impasses, that's not failure. It's often necessary for a creative breakthrough.
Like it forces you to think differently.
Exactly. It stimulates the magician. Think of Wag Dodge trapped by the wildfire, inventing the escape fire. Or Joe with cerebral palsy developing unique ways to do things. Or Shane busking after being robbed. Problems are catalysts.
Okay, that reframe challenges quite a bit. What about ignition?
That's Daniel Coyle's term. It's that moment you see something that just captivates you, pulls you into deep exploration.
Like Josh Waitzkin seeing the chess hustlers.
Yes, or later being drawn to push hands. That spark. And she connects it to Erickson's dedicated play.
Dedicated play.
Learning best, not by boring rote practice, but by practicing intensely while playing. pushing your limits in something you find deeply engaging, like a musical instrument or a sport.
So it's challenging but rewarding.
Intensely rewarding, and it builds those creative brain pathways faster.
So it's not just about messing around. There's effort involved.
Definitely. It's about striving for mastery, but driven by that internal pull, that squirrel energy, like her trying to draw a perfect nose or using that difficult drafting pen. The goal is activating the magician, not just vague self-expression.
And far transfers, applying skills across different fields.
Yeah, incredible stuff. Waitskin using test strategy in martial arts and finance, a poet's precision making her a great botanist.
So any passion can boost overall creativity.
That's the argument. Loving and mastering anything builds those superhighways in your right hemisphere, making you more inventive everywhere.
Okay, so step 6 in creativity is?
Trust.
Simply trust. You can't actually kill your inner magician, but you can definitely block it with anxiety and trying too hard to control the outcome.
So what do you do when you get stuck and anxious?
Use the calming skills, amygdala whispering, find glimmers, get back to green light, and then stop trying to force it.
Let go.
Let go. Let the mind go blank, maybe meditate, or try the Monty Python approach.
Which is?
Hit an impasse, then do something completely different. Let your right brain work on it unconsciously.
Which leads to the magical chicken exercise.
Yeah. A playful way to engage the right brain. Get stuck on a problem, then literally write a note asking your inner magical chicken for an idea.
Sounds silly, but maybe it works.
It's about bypassing the logical, controlling mind and inviting intuition.
Okay, so calming anxiety, unleashing creativity. This all leads towards purpose. That's the connection the source makes. Living stuck in that left brain, grab stuff, fear-driven mode drains purpose and joy.
Right. The scarcity mindset.
Exactly. Finding purpose requires detaching from that money-obsessed anxiety, she says, and really following your squirrels, your true interests.
And when people do that, they get creative about making a living.
Incredibly inventive. They often don't fit standard job descriptions. They create their own paths, often blending multiple passions, the multi-hyphen method.
But the example she gives, Zoe training service dogs.
Claire starting an NGO in South Africa. Emma Gannon's Substack built on her interests. Rob mixing outdoor sports and coaching. Cecily's baking videos. Owen and Greg's Patreon music.
Yeah, real people making it work by following their unique path.
And this leads to the idea of constellating an economic ecosystem.
Sounds complex. What does it mean?
It means that success, resources, opportunities, they tend to naturally gather around people who are living authentically from their purpose and curiosity.
Like David Sedaris becoming famous by being weirdly himself.
Exactly. Indulging his unique interests, like picking up trash and writing funny essays about it, actually drew success to him.
So it's not about chasing success directly.
It's more about living your purpose, and success forms around that.
And she contrasts this with modern society, the iron cage.
Yeah, seeing our weird society as this rigid, mechanistic system that wasn't really designed for human well-being or connection to nature. It assumes things like unpaid labor will just happen.
And she argues that with the way the economy is changing,
The gig economy, lack of safety nets.
creating your own ecosystem based on purpose isn't just nice, it's becoming necessary.
Pretty much, for survival and for actually thriving.
So how does this ecosystem work? Energy, water, space.
Right, those are the metaphorical components. Energy is your desire, your wants, your drive. Water is your creativity, the flow. Space is your lifespan, the container for it all.
And the process isn't just managing anxiety within the current system.
No, it's about creating the conditions for your best life to emerge autopoiesis, self-creation. Calming anxiety clears the inner toxins,
Which lets your curiosity reawaken.
which attracts your people, collaborators, customers, friends into these social cells. It's an organic process.
And the deep green magic exercise helps with this.
Yeah, it's about getting into that calm, green light state. And from there, really connecting with your desire, energy, and creativity, water, within your life, space, acknowledging them as real, powerful forces that can shape your reality.
Believing in their power.
Essentially, yes. It's a shift in perspective.
And this whole journey, beyond anxiety into creativity and purpose, she calls it awakening.
That's the term she uses. It's a fundamental identity shift.
From what to what?
From identifying mainly with that anxious, dogmatic, controlling left hemisphere mindset, we know everything, to grounding your identity in the right hemisphere's way of perceiving. Wonder, openness, curiosity, connection, feeling part of a larger, perhaps benevolent universe.
She uses Plato's cave.
Yeah, the idea that those still stuck in the limited view might think the awakened person is crazy for seeing things differently.
But this awakening isn't like losing your mind.
No, not at all. She stresses it often feels like the most normal, most real you've ever felt. It's just different.
A choice of where to put your attention, like changing the radio station.
Good analogy. Tuning into a different frequency that's always there. Connection, peace. And she mentions brain science, suggesting our brains might even be wired for this, a kind of docking station for spiritual connection.
And the studies on monks.
Yeah, showing how practices that involve letting go of ego and certainty can literally change the brain for more happiness and calm.
So how do you cultivate this state, the dissolve into space, silence, and stillness meditation?
Right. From Lesfemi's work on open focus, it uses questions you can't logically answer.
Like, can I imagine the distance between my eyes?
Exactly. Or, can I sense the space inside my hands? Trying to feel it, not figure it out, bypasses the analytical brain.
And puts you in that deep green state.
Yes. Opening the mind to calm spaciousness. Embracing the don't-know mind, which helps you hold life's paradoxes more easily. Even using anxiety or fear as a cue to ask, can I imagine the space, silence, and stillness I share with everything?
That's powerful. And this isn't just an individual thing. Social cells.
Right. These groups that form organically around people living from joy and creativity, held together by affection and shared ideals, not rigid rules.
And these groups can be wiser together.
Yeah, the wisdom of crowds idea. Diverse groups, free from fear-based control, can access a collective intelligence greater than the sum of their parts.
She uses the sugar cube pyramid analogy.
Yeah, dissolving into a pool, moving from a rigid, separate hierarchy to an interconnected flow where everyone's contributions ripple outwards.
And this collective wisdom is needed for big problems.
Like climate change, yeah. Referencing Paul Hawken's drawdown work, the idea is that this shift in consciousness is vital.
So living beyond anxiety isn't just personal. It contributes to something bigger.
That's the implication. It's
Yeah.
like healing ourselves helps heal the world. The Earth's brain waking up.
And that exercise,
Yeah.
it is absolutely okay that we can't control this.
A simple tool for letting go of that core anxiety driver, the need for control.
Wow. Okay, so let's try and wrap up this incredible deep dive. We've covered so much.
I really have.
We looked at anxiety versus true fear, how our brains get stuck in these loops, but also how they can change neuroplasticity.
Absolutely key.
Mm.
And the practical tools, like amygdala whispering, to actually calm the body's response, being compassionate to that anxiety creature.
Yeah, and seeing how our society kind of pushes anxiety.
Even though our natural state leans towards creativity, curiosity, play.
When we let go of the fear, yeah. And maybe the biggest takeaway for me is following those squirrels, those genuine interests. How that not only unlocks your inner magician and leads to purpose, but can actually build your life, your ecosystem around it.
Yeah, I think the core message that comes through so strongly is that when we move beyond anxiety, when we stop living from fear and control, we don't just find the magic in life.
Are the magic.
We are the magic. That capacity to heal, connect, create, cooperate, it's inherent. It's just waiting for us to, well, trust it, to gravitate towards what we love with people we love.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
And maybe just one final thought for you, the listener, to chew on from all this. The source suggests that as people awaken, they often start identifying more with this non-physical sense of awareness, this interconnectedness, than with just their body or ego. And that the shift feels to them more real, more true. So the question to ponder might be, what would it actually feel like to live from that place, to sense that connection to everything and feel fundamentally safe even when things around you feel chaotic? What would that change?